Hello and welcome to September Magic's YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a problem that is very common when you're bullet journaling. Now, at some point or the other, we all have been in this situation where we have a beautiful looking bullet journal in front of us and we are terrified to start using it only because we are scared of making a mistake or of missing out on a few pages here and there. It's a very common problem, and the solution lies in the fact that you should remember that you're a human being. You will make mistakes, but there is always a way to rectify any mistake that you make. So I, for one, make a lot of mistakes on a daily basis. I am super clumsy, and to make matters worse, my brain paces at like 100 miles an hour, and while I'm designing a spread, my mind is already planning the next year, and at the same time it's thinking what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to do tomorrow, what I'm going to do 2 months down the line. So it's like a mess up here, and when that happens, mistakes happen. So I, over time, have learned how to rectify these mistakes. Sometimes people look at my pages and they think, oh my god, that is so creative. But to be honest, some of those pages are results of these mistakes that I've made, because sometimes what happens is I have made such a huge mistake that in trying to cover it up, it just ends up being super elaborate or decorative or creative, in short. So what I've done today is I've collected a few simple ways in which I rectify my mistakes. Some of these things you may already know, but what I've done is I have paired these ways or these tips with some examples that I have personally used in my journaling experience. So I am going to share it with you and hope you find it helpful, and do let me know if you do. And so let's just go ahead and watch how I rectify mistakes when bullet journaling.
The first method is to use a glue stick. If you make a mistake which is too big to rectify, the simplest thing to do is to use a glue stick to stick the two pages together. For instance, here I had decided to create a pizza themed opener for the month of June, and later on I changed my mind and decided to have a daisy theme. There was no way I could turn pizzas into daisies, so I stuck the two pages together. So as you can see, you have page number 5 and then page number 8 instead of 6. The second way to hide your mistakes is to use a pair of scissors. This lily created a lot of ghosting on the next page. Since it was a Harry Potter themed page, I decided to cut out the silhouette of Hogwarts school and stick it in a way that it covered the area where the ghosting occurred. You can also use a pair of scissors to cut out any unwanted areas in your bullet journal, as in if you think you've made a mistake, you can cut that portion out. For instance, there was some hand lettering gone wrong on this mood tracker of mine. All I did was I cut it out, making it look as if I was trying to give this page a fancy edge. You can also use markers to hide any errors. For instance, on this page, I tried making a lot of patterns in the background, but it ended up looking too busy, so I covered it all up using a black marker. Now, there's also another way of using the markers, which is to make any busy pattern in the background. For instance, it happens that when you are drawing, your pen slips and it creates an unwanted line in the background. So what you can do is create designs that can cover that unwanted line that occurred. Here, I had stuck another paper on top of my existing paper, and there was also some other markings that had occurred by accident. I created this busy background around the daisies to hide all the flaws. The other thing you can do is use stickers and labels. I highly recommend getting A4 sized plain sticker sheets. They are really handy. For instance, on this page I made 8 columns instead of 7 for my monthlies, and so I stuck a sticker sheet on top of it and turned it into a to-do list. And then I also made another error on this page. As you can see, there are 6 weeks in August, but instead of that I made 5 weeks, so I just took the last 2 days of the month onto the 2 empty cells that were there on the top. So you can adjust your mistakes in this way. You can also use the sticker sheets in other ways. They're like on this page I had created a very colorful background, but it kept clashing with the peacock that I had. So what I did was I cut out strips out of my A4 sticker sheet and stuck it horizontally on my page, which hid the background. And then I created patterns using markers. I have also used washi tape here and there in my project. I use it very rarely. On the same page I have used washi tape to cover the edges which were looking a little weird. So now I have a clean back border because of my washi tapes. Now this page is a good example of how I've used stickers, washis together. Like I tried writing a quote, but it wasn't coming out right, so I stuck a sticker sheet, a white sticker sheet, and I rewrote the quote on it. But again, when I was going over the quote, the pencil markings with pen, one of the letters turned out wrong. So all I did was took out some alphabet stickers and stuck over some of the letters. What do you do when you are missing some pages? Like I created a Harry Potter theme for my July pages, and I finished creating the pages in June. But in the month of July I started a diet, and I wanted to create a meal log and a page for meal ideas, and there was no way of adding it because I had already started my August pages too. So this is another neat way of adding pages that are missing. So I've cut out a page from my A4 size bullet journal. So that is another thing that you can purchase, and because it's also another handy thing that you should have in your possession, which is an A4 size bullet journal. So because when you fold the A4 sheet into half, you get an A5 size page. So all I have done is I folded it into half, keeping a little edge on the side. All you have to do is put some glue on that little edge and then stick it on an existing page in your journal. So while making my 31 columns for the month of August, I created a lot of lines where I was not supposed to, and I made a lot of mistakes. So to cover those mistakes up, I used the method we all have used probably. It's the correction tape. So I used correction tape to hide all my mistakes. There is another way in which you can use your correction tapes. For instance, if I wanted to create a diagonal division on this page using the yellow and gray lines, in order to divide the page into 4 sections for my lunch ideas, breakfast ideas, dinner ideas, and snack ideas, but the edges of my yellow and gray lines ended up looking a little jagged, and the diagonal wasn't looking that neat. So all I did was I ran my correction tape in a diagonal manner, trying to keep my hand as steady as possible, and it ended up giving a very nice and clean edge to my lines. So these are the simple ways in which you can hide all the errors that you make in your bullet journal. Hope you liked it. Till I see you again, happy journaling and have a good day.